We're very pleased to have Alec Fell here with us today. He's our author and series editor for our Office 2013 Learning Solutions. His experience includes more than 23 years of classroom and computer consulting experience. He started in technology in the late 80s by leading staff development workshops, teaching other instructors how to use computers and their applications. He's written many computer textbooks covering topics such as Windows operating systems, computer hardware, XHTML, and Microsoft Office. Alec is currently a full-time instructor at AB Technical Community College in North Carolina, where he teaches courses in computer hardware and web technologies. In 2007, he was honored with the AB Technical Community College Adjunct Teacher of the Year Award. The following year, Alec was awarded the prestigious National Institute for Staff and Organizational Development Excellence Award. When he's not teaching or writing about computers, Alec is playing guitar in his band Carolina Rex. He also mentors young rock stars at the Asheville Rock Academy and teaches guitar master classes at the Music Academy of Asheville. Thank you, Alec, for being here. And with that, I will turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Paula. Thanks to everybody who's here with us today. And I'm just going to take a minute here to set up my screen. All right. So this is my basic outline for today. Here's what I'm going to talk about. We'll look at some system requirements for Office 2013. What do you need to actually run it? I'll show you bunches and bunches of new features and updated features of 2013, and then kind of along the way, we'll talk about some considerations for planning your courses, exactly how this is going to affect you. So for starters, system requirements. What do you need to run Office 2013? You need to have either Windows 7 or Windows 8. Office 2013 will not run on XP or Vista, so Windows 7 at a minimum. You also need a minimum screen resolution of 1024 by 576 pixels. And actually, before I go on to the next item here, it may be a good time to remind everybody that you might want to have a piece of paper and a pencil with you to jot down some of these things. I believe Paul is going to mention again later that the webinar will be available for review later on, as well.
That's correct.
I believe it's being recorded. All right, moving on. You also need a minimum of 3 gigabytes of free hard drive space to install and use Office 2013. You need a minimum 1 gigahertz processor, and depending on if you're running a 32-bit computer system or a 64-bit computer system, your memory requirements are going to differ. So 1 gig of RAM for 32-bit users, 2 gig of RAM for 64-bit users. All right, so moving on to what exactly we're going to look at today. As I said, there are updated features in Office 2013. So I'm going to show you just my favorite stuff. There are 7 cool new features in Word. We're going to look at 5 new features in Excel, 9 new PowerPoint features, 1 group of new features in Access, and then there are a number of other things that are globally consistent throughout all the Office programs. So all together, there's going to be 25 new features or updated features that we're going to look through today. So here we go. All right, I'm going to start by just launching a blank Word, and this is the initial screen. Pretty much all of the Office programs are going to look similar to this when you start them. Microsoft is calling this the Start screen. On the left side here, you're going to have easy, quick access to your recently opened documents. You can also open documents from anywhere on your computer from the Open Other Documents link, and it's going to come preloaded with a bunch of templates that'll help you, get started with new document types. If there's a template that you need that you don't see up here, you can, of course, if you're connected to the internet, you can search for different categories, resumes and calendars and whatnot. All right, I'm going to just start with a blank document here just to see some of the core features, again, that are going to be carried through all the Office programs. So the first one that you'll probably notice is that the ribbon is a whole lot cleaner. It doesn't have the 3D effect. It doesn't have the gradient color that it had in Office 2010 or 2007. It's a much flatter, more subdued looking ribbon. And I can only imagine Microsoft's reason for doing that is to try and make the interface look less cluttered, to make it look a little bit more clean, more pristine, so that users can focus on their actual document itself. The good news about 2013 is it still has the ribbon. And you can see if you're a big Word user, not much changes in the actual tabs themselves. There are some new features. There are some new commands in some of these tabs that we'll look at throughout the workshop. But in general, the ribbon is largely unchanged, and again, that's going to be the same throughout all of the Office programs. One big push of Microsoft, both with Office 2013 and with Windows 8, is the move towards tablet devices. Don't know how many of you out there are using Windows 8, if you've had any experience with Windows 8, but it's very touch-friendly. So Microsoft has also attempted to make the Office programs touch-friendly. There's one option in particular, which you can add a shortcut to this, to the Quick Access Toolbar here, called Touch Mode. And if I load that option up here in the Quick Access Toolbar, it hasn't turned anything on yet. It's just put the option up here for me. If I turn this on, I've now entered Touch Mode, and if you keep your eye on the ribbon, you'll see it's just a real subtle change. There it is. The ribbon just got a little bit bigger. The icons are spaced out a little bit farther apart. That's nice if you're using a touch screen, a tablet device. It makes it easier to tap these icons with your fingers because they're larger and closer, larger and further apart. So the ribbon, the user interface, is now more touch-friendly across all of the programs. The other big change that you're going to see that's shared across all the programs is a new Backstage View. And I'm sure you remember, you get to Backstage View by clicking on the File tab, and that gives you your options to open and save and print and all those other generic options in there. So Backstage View is cleaned up a little bit. You'll notice when you're in Backstage View now, there is no ribbon anymore. Again, it helps reduce clutter. You don't accidentally exit Backstage View by clicking on a ribbon tab up top because there's no ribbon anymore. Most of the options in here are largely unchanged. You can still get info about the current document. You can still save documents. You still have the same print tab. So the function of Backstage View hasn't changed, but the ribbon's gone. To exit Backstage View and get back to the ribbon, you got the big old back button at the top. That'll take you right back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a Word document I've already got prepared here to show you some of the new Word features. All right, the first of which is called heading collapsing. Now, in previous versions of Word, you can turn on this navigation pane, and if your document was formatted with headings, you were able to navigate your document by clicking on those headings. That's nothing new in 2013. We had that in 2010, and that hasn't changed. You're able to collapse the headings in Navigation View, which makes it a little easier to navigate the document, but collapsing them in Navigation View has no effect on the document itself. And that has changed to a degree in Windows, in Word 2013. 2013 has collapsible headings now. So when you're just reading the document, if you point to a heading like, let's see, patient management procedures, we've got a little arrow to the left here. I can click that, and it totally collapses everything inside of that patient management section, Makes it a little easier for you to navigate documents. It's really good if you've got your syllabus written out in Microsoft Word format and you're reviewing that with students. It makes it just really easy to collapse different sections, clean up your document a little bit, but of course you still have the main heading up there visible for you. So heading collapsing, pretty cool, makes it easier to navigate your document and reduce the clutter, but still have your headings there and know where you are. Another new feature is this new read mode available from the View tab. Read mode removes the ribbon completely and puts you in, you guessed it, read mode, which again would be similar to reading your document on a tablet device, where you would swipe left and right to get from page to page. And we've got these nice buttons on the side to mimic that behavior. Again, just a less cluttered way to read through a document. One feature that's available if you're in read mode is called Object Zoom. And Object Zoom lets you zoom in on objects that may appear too small in read mode. For example, the company logo up at the top. You may want to get a closer look at that, so if you're in read mode, you can double-click and zoom in on it, zoom in really large on it, click the little magnifying glass there, zoom back out, zoom in, zoom out. When you're finished with it, you just click back on the document and sets you back to ground zero. And that works with any kind of object, so tables as well as images. Here we go. Here's a table. So again, sometimes the information in tables is a little small to read, so really nice to be able to zoom in on that. To exit reading mode, we still have the status bar visible at the bottom where I can switch back to my print layout. All right, another improvement is simple comment markup, or simple markup. Let's see, here I go, on page 2 of my document. You can see I've got a comment here, and I have some changes that were tracked. And if you've ever dealt with documents that have a lot of tracked changes, if you have students do drafts and rewrites of their work, and you've just got these crossed out and new underlined areas all over, it could be really difficult to read. So this new feature under the Review tab is this drop-down where you can choose all markup. Of course, you can still choose no markup, but then you don't have any idea that anybody's made any changes here. But simple markup is the new feature, and that's really nice. It removes that big, ugly color block where there's a comment, and wherever there's a line that had a tracked changes edit, you just have a nice little visual cue on the left side here. This vertical red line shows you that there's some edit on that line somewhere. You could either switch back to your all markup view from the ribbon, or you can just click on that vertical bar and it shows you all your changes again. Again, though, having that simple markup, a really nice way to read through student drafts and just have less clutter on your screen. All right, I'm going to scroll back up to the top and go back to this image here. Another new feature is called alignment guides, and this helps you align objects to different areas of the page. If you're a typical computer person and you're like me and you're type A and obsessive compulsive and everything has to be lined up perfectly, this right here may be driving you crazy because these things are not aligned with each other, the image and in the text. But as you drag an image around, you can see these little green lines appearing magically out of nowhere, and this allows you to easily align and snap your image to different areas of the page. So I can snap it to the left margin, snap it to the top margin, snap it to the right margin. There's even a center guide right there, so I can perfectly center that image on the page. All right, I'm going to scroll way down here to, how's this? Initial diagnostic evaluation. Sounds interesting. So this, I can see down in my status bar, is page 4 of my document. Let's say you're reading a student paper, you're editing a lesson plan, and you have to leave. So you close out of Word. I'm not even going to save any changes here. And then when you go back into Word the next day, the next hour, Word now automatically remembers your last place. This is called the Resume Bookmark feature, or the Resume Reading Bookmark feature. When I open this document up again, there it is. I get a nice little bubble out here that says, "Welcome back, pick up where we left off." It even tells me what heading I was on, and I can click that box, and it scrolls me right back to the last place I was. Again, this has nothing to do with whether or not you were editing a document or not. You can simply be reading the document and not even making any edits at all, and you close the document, open it back up again, boom, you're going to be able to get right back to the last location, which is really nice. You don't have to scroll through and, gee, I wonder if I was here, or if I was here, or if I was here. All right, one last thing I'm going to show you in Word before we move on is what I'm hoping will eventually become one of my favorite new features. It's still a little buggy right now, but this new feature lets you open and actually you can edit a PDF document. Yes, edit a PDF document. Let's see, I've got a PDF here on my desktop called Assignment 4. One of the classes I teach at AV Tech is a JavaScript class. And I've got an assignment file here for my students, and I've got some instructions here where I'm referring to a starter.js file. Well, I don't want it to say JS. I want it to say JavaScript. So you can see the document right now is opened in the Adobe Reader. You can see that at the top of my screen. And, of course, the reader is just that. It's a reader. I can't edit the document here. If I double-click JavaScript and I start typing, see, you can't see, but you can probably hear my keyboard there. I'm not able to change that text at all. What you can do now with Word 2013, right-click that PDF, go down to Open With, choose Word. Word will automatically open, and it'll convert your PDF into an editable Word document like it says right there. And there is the Word version of my PDF document. It's just a regular old Word document now. I can type my new text, essentially editing this PDF file. Now, I said there's one bug with this thing. You may notice up here at the top in the title bar, it just says Assignment 4 Word. In other words, it's no longer a PDF file. It has been converted to a Word file. And if I try to save this document now, it's as if it were a brand new document right now. So it's opening the Save As dialog box. This is kind of a tedious process, again, for our computer people who like instant gratification here. But you've got to set the type back to PDF. And then the other thing that's a little buggy is you cannot save over on top of this existing PDF. I'm going to have to give this a new name. So Assignment 4B, I'll call it. And I'll save that. I'll close out of Word. And here's my new Assignment 4B version. I can open that up in a reader, and you can see there's the there's that edit that I made. So again, it is a little tedious. You know, again, if you're obsessive compulsive like me, you'd want to delete that original file and then rename the one you just edited to match the original name. Don't know if that's a limitation of the PDF format, if it's a limitation of Windows, if it's a limitation of Office. Again, not being able to save over on top of that original PDF. It's a little annoying, but hey, at least you can still edit PDFs. All right, moving on to Excel. We're going to look at, let's see, 5 new features for Excel. And the first feature is called Flash Fill. This is pretty cool. This lets you do 2 different things. It lets you extract text, and it lets you concatenate text. For example, let's say you've got a student roster. or a list of customers, people who have maybe signed up for a webinar that you're hosting. And you need, for whatever reason, you just want to know what domains these people come from. You know, see if it's a school domain or if it's some kind of a business domain. So I don't care that this is Williams or Thompson or Samuels. What I need is just to know if it's Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail or whatever. So I'm going to click next to this Williams email account. I'll type in Yahoo and hit enter. Cell. I can go up here to the ribbon, go down to this new flash fill option, and Excel's smart enough to know what I had extracted from row 3 over here from Williams, and it extracted that same type of pattern from the other lines as well. This isn't limited to text either. You can extract numbers. You can have a bunch of cells with dates in them, and you could extract just the years or just the months from that. As I said, this works two ways. You can also concatenate. So let's say you've got a list in 2 different columns here of, you know, again, maybe it's a student roster, an employer roster, and you want to give everybody a company email address. So I'm going to type in what's in the first cell, some kind of joining character, in this case a dot, which isn't even really necessary, just makes an email address a little bit easier to read. And then at mycompany.com, and then same deal. I can go back to that cell, go down here to flash fill, and Excel automatically concatenates all of the other data there. So pretty cool. Flash fill saves you a whole lot of time for having to type out all those student rosters or study groups. All right, next new feature of Excel are recommended charts and quick analysis. Let's see, we've got some data here on, I'm guessing this is some kind of sports thing, right? I'm a computer music guy. I'm not a sports person, but that's what this looks like it is here. I can select the data, and I get this new little icon down here, my quick analysis tool, and this is going to be Excel now offering me a quick bird's eye view of my data. I can point to any one of these options here. You can see it's automatically formatting the data in my cells. I can see what my high numbers are, what my low numbers are, what my top 10% is, etc. So this quick analysis tool, again, just a really nice way to get a quick bird's eye view of your data. And you've actually got a lot of different options here. In addition to formatting, I can go here to charts, and based on the data that I've selected, Excel is going to recommend these different chart types for me. Again, just a really nice way to get some recommendations without having to go to the ribbon and actually trying these things out. Totals is really nice if you don't want to actually, you know, add this information to the spreadsheet. You can just get a quick sum down there, a quick average, a quick count, and so on. So the quick analysis tool and chart recommendation tool is pretty cool. All right, the last new kind of chart feature we're going to look at is chart formatting control. This makes it a whole lot easier to you know, run through these what-if kind of scenarios. Gee, I wonder what this chart would look like if it didn't have a title, if it didn't have an X-axis label. So again, rather than selecting the chart and going up to the ribbon and testing all these things, you can select the chart. You've got 3 new icons out on the side here now. And let's see, the first one allows you to explore the chart elements. What would happen if I had axis titles? Again, I could just point to axis titles, and you can see them appearing now in my chart on the left side and down the bottom there. I wonder what it would look like with data labels. There I go. That's what it would look like with data labels. So again, you could just point to any one of these. You get a nice, quick live preview of what that change would look like. And if you decided you like that thing, hey, I like data labels, I can check that box, and it's going to go ahead and turn those on permanently for me. Other things you can do are quickly edit your chart styles. So I've got some style options here. Again, I could just point to. I can get a nice live preview on the left side there. I can go up here to the color and I can see what these different color schemes are going to look like if I want to apply these. And then the last quick thing here is a quick filter. Again, just mousing over any one of these will just give you a quick analysis of what your data looks like. So again, these chart formatting tools, just really nice, quick ways to be able to focus in on just one area of the screen, focus in on just your data, not have to jump back and forth between the ribbon and your chart and the ribbon and the chart. All right, the last new feature of Excel I'm going to show you is far and away my favorite new feature, and that is now the ability to open up two Excel windows side by side, which I know some of you are saying, but Alec, wait, you could do that in the previous version of Excel. Not really. If I've got this demonstration file here, which I'm going to minimize, and I've got another Excel file here, demonstration 2, if I double click it, they actually open up in completely different windows. Now, in previous versions of Excel, you could go down here to the ribbon and you can change between these two files, but they would be loaded in the same window. There was an option, where you could arrange these windows side by side. All that did was to put the two workbooks still inside of the same Excel window. They still shared the same ribbon. Well, now look at this. You can really and truly snap these to the side of your screen, have two completely different Excel windows, each with their own ribbons. I can be on the home ribbon on one of these. I can be on the insert ribbon on the others. A really nice, easy, quick way to compare data in two different workbooks, to copy data between two different workbooks, in a much improved way of working with multiple windows as opposed to previous versions of Excel. All right, I'll wait for the cheers to die down here. And moving on to PowerPoint. All right, 9 new features of PowerPoint we're going to look at. The first of which is the fact that PowerPoint now defaults to wide-screen layouts, wide-screen slides. Previous versions let you have widescreen slides, but it was really a pain to get to. Now with this new version, it's really easy. Design tab, slide size, boom, that's it. Switch between standard and widescreen. And when you do switch from a wider screen to a narrower one, these options are, I think it's pretty intuitive as to what they're going to do. Either here in Shore Fit, it's going to shrink down all of your graphics so it fits on the smaller slide, or keep all the graphics big and just crop them off. So if I, in Shore Fit, there, I've just changed my presentation. There, I've just changed my presentation to standard size slides. Again, with so many computers now being widescreen screens, made sense for PowerPoint to make that change. All right, another new change to PowerPoint, something they've done, Microsoft has done in pretty much every version of PowerPoint. They just give you a whole bunch of new themes. So you've got some new, I don't know if I'd say exciting themes, but they are new. They're new and in different themes. By default, PowerPoint is going to come loaded up with 9 new themes, and they're alphabetized like in previous versions. You can see here's Facet, here's Organic, here's Wisp, and then my next one, I go back to the B's. Wait, that's out of alphabetical order. Yeah, that's because, again, there are 9 new themes by default. All these other themes, PowerPoint is going to download from the Microsoft website automatically if you have a live internet connection. But all those new themes are brand new as well. Another new feature in addition to these new themes are these theme variants. So even though it only comes with 9 themes, which may not seem like a lot compared to previous versions, each one of these themes has 4 variations. And they're all live previewable. As I point to any one of these, I can see how these change. I can go from a wood background to kind of a canvas or a burlap type of background. So you really get, what, 9 times 36 different themes or so. Okay, another new feature is the Eyedropper tool. This is something that's been in graphics editing programs like Photoshop and Fireworks for years, and this lets you match colors to colors that you may be using in a logo or an image in your slide presentation. For example, you may have a beautiful picture of tomatoes here. Maybe it's the Tomato Incorporated Company, and you want the text up here to match perfectly, match some of the orange inside of this picture. So in the old days, what you'd have to do with PowerPoint is go to the Home tab, go up here to your colors, maybe try and choose one of these default colors and see if there was one that was close to the orange, or I guess you can go to More Colors, and again, if you're just some kind of unworldly computer geek and you know the RGB value of this orange just by looking at it, you could type that in. But now it's a whole lot easier. There's this new tool called the Eyedropper Tool. And when I choose that tool, I can mouse over any area on a slide. In fact, it doesn't have to be over an image. And you get a nice big square preview of what color you're mousing over. So let's say I like that shade of red. I can click on that, and that colors my text so that my slides are perfectly matched to my my company's logo or my client's logo. If you're a Microsoft Publisher user, Publisher also had a similar tool. I don't think Publisher calls it the Eyedropper Tool, though. It actually has a different name from Publisher, but within PowerPoint, it's just called the Eyedropper Tool, and it's brand new to PowerPoint. All right, another new feature of PowerPoint, one of my new favorites, is the comments pane. If you've ever dealt with comments on a slide before, it's just been an awful way to work. All these little speech bubbles all over the place, and the comment would actually display right on the slide itself. Well, now, finally, after how many years has PowerPoint been out, it finally gets a comments pane. So you can read and reply to comments directly in the comment pane. Here I go. Great idea, Alec. You are brilliant. I spell brilliant right? Yeah. All right, so there we go. A nice way to add comments, track comments, easy to read, this nice new comment pane. You can collapse it up if you don't want to see it, and leaves your slides a little less cluttered. All right, let's see. New feature of PowerPoint, aligning and spacing shapes. I'm going to go to a brand new slide here. And in the past, you could always group shapes together, but now you can do this new thing where you can actually combine and merge them. So let me start with 3 of these little circle guys here. All right, before we merge these snapping guides that you're seeing, we had this back in PowerPoint 2010, made it easy to align things, top and bottom align things with each other so they're perfectly aligned. What was missing is the fact that right now these circles are not distributed evenly. So this feature here is new to PowerPoint 2013. You can see now I have these 2 additional guides there with the little arrows at the bottom showing me the spaced. So again, for us computer people who really like things to be nice and tidy, we can align them and we can equally space them all without having to use an align panel. All right, the merging shapes feature, pretty cool. It allows you to draw your own shapes, and I think last time I did a baby carriage, which was pretty easy to draw. I am not an artist. So there, that looked kind of like a baby carriage. Yes, I can hear you all in agreement. All right, so in the past, what you could do is, of course, you can group those together, so you can move these around as if it's one object, but it didn't look like one shape, one object. You can still see all the outlines there, and it clearly looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 completely different objects there. So what we can do with this new version of PowerPoint is this new option here, the Merge Shapes option. And again, in a true Microsoft form, you can point to any one of these things to preview them to see how it's going to affect what's on the screen, so you're not committed, to making a choice just yet. So I'm going to choose Union, and these have now been merged into truly a single shape. I don't have those outlines anymore. And yes, I know it doesn't look like a baby carriage anymore. We're just going to ignore that and move on here. All right, the last couple features we're going to look at deal with presenter view. This is really helpful if you're on a single monitor. It's really helpful for practicing a slideshow presentation. Under the slideshow tab, there's a little option here to use presenter view, and you can see that's enabled right now. If I actually view my slideshow, it doesn't look like anything's happened. But if I right-click, I can go to Show Presenter View. Presenter View looks like. For one thing, if you are lucky enough to be using dual monitors here, like an overhead projector, your audience is just going to see the regular slideshow. They're just going to see this big old slide presentation just like it was a normal slideshow. On your screen, you're going to see this presenter view, which shows you first in a great big preview here what's the audience looking at. And then on the right side is the secret stuff that only you see, which shows you any notes that you have on that particular slide. And it also shows you a little preview of the next slide so that you can, kind of mentally prepare yourself for what's coming up next. If you're on a single monitor, like I am here, you can't really use presenter view. You're probably not going to want to use presenter view when you're actually displaying a slideshow. But as you're rehearsing it yourself on a single monitor, it's a really, really helpful tool. All right, I'm going to go back here to my normal non-presenter view and move my mouse a little bit. Here's our Slideshow Toolbar, which probably looks a little bit different in this version of PowerPoint. Two new things here. One is the Show All Slides button. Will show you thumbnails of slides rather than having to just get a text list of slides. And the other new feature here is this magnifying glass. It lets you zoom in on areas of a slide. This is really cool. If you want to zero in on a slide logo or some text or a chart that's particularly small and difficult to see, you can zoom in on that slide now. You can drag that slide and pan it around. And when you're ready to exit that magnifying glass, you just right-click anywhere and it zooms you back out to the full slide view. Alrighty, that's it for PowerPoint. Moving on to Access. I don't have any new features to show you in Access. I'll show you what the new start screen looks like. There it is. Most of the new features, pretty much all of the new features for Access revolve around custom web apps. You have to create a web app to be able to have access to these new features. And there are some new form controls and some new table templates and things, but you have to use a custom web app. They don't work for just a regular old desktop database. To create a custom web app, though, it requires more stuff, more money, more time, more all of that. You need either a Microsoft SharePoint server or you need an Office 365 subscription. A SharePoint server is just what it sounds like. It's a Microsoft server. It's a server computer with the SharePoint software installed, meaning that your institution would need the physical hardware for that, the computer for that, and you need an expert in SharePoint. You need some IT administrator to manage that and set that up for you, and then your custom web database would live on the SharePoint server. If you have the other option, which is an Office 365 account, Office 365 is a new cloud computing service offered by Microsoft that hosts files for you out there in the ether, in the internet, in the cloud. And if you have an Office 365 account, your database can live out there, but that's going to be a monthly subscription fee. All right, I'm going to close out of Access, and I'm going to finish up here, give you just a little summary of what we have looked at. Again, if you've got paper and pencil, you want to jot these things down, great. If not, again, the webinar is being recorded. It'll be available for you to go back and watch again later. Here's all the new stuff we looked at for Word, being able to collapse headings so you can keep your document clean as you're reading it, and still be able to see at least what the main headings are. You've got read mode and object zoom, makes it look a little bit more tablet-like, gets rid of the ribbon, makes it easier to focus on the content. You've got simple markup view to hide comments. You've got alignment guides for all you Type A OCD people out there like me. You could snap snap the images to margins of the page or center them on the page. You've got the resume reading bookmark where it's going to remember the last page you were on. And by the way, that also works in PowerPoint. If you ended on slide 10, you close PowerPoint, open it back up. It's going to say, hey, last time you were in this document, you were on slide 10. Do you want to go there? And then also with Word, you've got the ability to edit a PDF. Let's see, Excel. You got flash fill that helps you either extract or concatenate text, saving you from having to just retype a lot of duplicated information. You got quick analysis and recommended charts and chart formatting, all really quick, just point-and-click ways to format your charts and to format your data. And, of course, you've got true multiple windows where you can have Excel workbooks side by side where they each have their own ribbon. PowerPoint, I won't read all these to you because there's just a ton of them there, but there's a whole bunch of brand new PowerPoint features. Again, I will say that my personal favorites are probably the Eyedropper Tool and probably Slide Zoom and Presenter View are both really cool too. Oh, and the comments pane. Love the comments pane also. Access, again, it just requires that you have a SharePoint server or an Office 365 subscription to take advantage of the new web app features. Together, they all incorporate these changes here. They all have a new start screen. They all have that cleaner ribbon look, flatter, less color. They all support touch mode, and they all have the, I guess what Microsoft would call the improved Backstage View. That, again, just has less clutter in it itself. All right, so what does this mean for you and your life and your sanity and your students' sanity, potential difficulties? Well, if you're migrating from Office 2010 to 2013, there's really not that much to worry about. It still has a ribbon. Yeah, there are going to be some new features to learn how to use, but by and large, there's not much difference as far as the user interface goes. The big headache is going to be if you're using Office 2013 on Windows 8, Windows 8 is going to be the potential difficulty. It's a totally new operating system. Don't know if any of you out there have used it yet, but the Start button is gone. Wait, let me repeat that. You see this little Start button down here? Okay, imagine if that Start button was gone. How do you get to your programs? How do you do an instant search? How do you get fast access to all these guys over here? There is no Start button in Windows 8. It uses this new thing called the Start screen. Again, the idea is to try and make it more like a tablet touch device. So that may be a potential difficulty. As far as what you can do to leverage some of these new features is get yourself a Windows Live ID, basically just a Microsoft account, which of course is free. You can sign up for a Hotmail account, a Live.com account, a Messenger account, and those accounts will give you free access to SkyDrive, which is online storage. It's basically a hard drive that lives out there on a Microsoft server. And for free, the fine folks, gigabyte of storage for free. So students come to your office all the time and say, I don't have my homework because my dog ate my USB drive, or I lost my USB drive. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Students can store their files on SkyDrive and have it be accessible to them from any computer connected to the internet. If your institution doesn't use a learning management system like Blackboard or Moodle, and it's difficult for you to get assignment files to your students, you can have all of your files on your own SkyDrive and you can share just one folder of student files out with all of your students. So this is actually a really good first day of class exercise as you're going through your syllabus and waiting for students to find parking and find their way to your class. You can have students actually create a Windows Live ID and start getting them familiar with SkyDrive. With every Office application now, Office 2013 application, SkyDrive is actually available right from the Save As and right from the Open screen. So you can save files directly to and open files directly from your SkyDrive drive. All right, as far as what do you need to actually get all this working, as we said before, you need Windows 7 or Windows 8. Office 2013 won't run on anything prior to that. It's nice to have internet access. That way you get the updated design templates, the updated help content. But, of course, that does require partnering with your IT team, being nice to them, bringing them coffee and donuts, and asking them nicely to open up any firewall blocks that they have so that you can access all of these Microsoft services. And that is pretty much all I've got for you today. Lots of features are unchanged, but there are many brand new features, many updated features there. If you have any questions after this webinar, you can jot down my email address at the bottom there, alec@lablearning.com. Feel free to send me an email, or better yet, post the question on the Labyrinth Facebook page. That way everybody can learn from what the question and what the answer was, and we will get the answers back to you up on Facebook there as well. And with that, I am going to pass control back to Paula.
Thank you, Alec. That was fabulous. Even with your artistically challenged baby carriage, it was great, and we've got lots of questions for you that have already come in.
It was much better in the first one.
well, maybe. But I do want to share with everyone who's online that we do have our Office 2013 solutions underway. If you would like to receive a preview package of our Mastery Series preview, you can request that at www.lablearning.com/Office2013, and you can take a look at the entire table of contents, a sample lesson, and some of our multimedia. So I encourage you to do that. You can also just register as an educator on our site, and then you have access to all of our resources for all of our existing Labyrinth Learning solutions as well. Okay, with that, I'd like to open up our Q&A session. In addition to Alec, I have Jason Favreau, our Product Development Manager, on the line to help answer questions, and Jody Noel is going to help me ask the questions. So, Jody, if you want to start us off with a question, that'd be great.
Excellent. Alec, wonderful job. And just as a gentle reminder, hands are raised up in the audience. If you would please post your question to the question panel, we will get to them as fast as possible. We won't be using the hands feature, so again, please use the question panel. Alec, this question is for you. It comes from us, comes to us from Anthony. This is a word question, I believe. Anthony asks, can you print with header collapsed?
No, you cannot. That heading collapsing feature is only for on-screen rendering. If you collapse all of your headings and you print it, you're going to print all 9,000 pages because nothing's going to be collapsed when it prints.
Excellent.
Thanks, Alec.
Thanks, Alec.
We have another question from Anne. She's asking, is the default spacing in 2013 the same as 2010, or did it revert back to the 2007 spacing?
Default spacing for what's on the ribbon? Is that what we're asking? Default spacing
This question came in when you were talking about Word. That's the only...
I think it probably means line spacing.
Yeah, it may mean line spacing, and I don't know. I'm typing things in both versions of Word that I have right now, and I can't tell first that. But that's a perfect example of a great Facebook question. That'll give me time to find an answer for this one, because I can't tell just by looking here.
Alec, if I can just jump in, this is Jason. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I seem to recall from a conversation with the author that it's neither. It's neither the default spacing that it was in 2007 or in 2010. I believe it's a new line spacing, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Well, we will get to the bottom of it if you post it on our Facebook page. Alec, this is a question, or this is actually feedback for you from Astrid. Astrid said, I like the .pdf conversion feature.
Yes, me too. I love being able to edit PDFs. I download a lot of files for students to use that I may find on the internet. A lot of those are in PDF format. I share files with co-teachers all the time. We're sending PDFs back and forth to each other, and it's really difficult to, edit those PDFs if you don't have access to the source document that was used to create the PDF in the first place. So the fact that you can now edit those PDFs directly from within Word is really, really nice.
Well, Alec, on a related question, Catherine is wondering, can the PDF be saved so it can't be edited?
Not from within Word. If the PDF is password protected, or if the PDF has security on it that you place there from Adobe Acrobat, then you won't be able to open that PDF up in Word and edit it in Word. But that PDF protection would have to be implemented in the Adobe Acrobat program.
Excellent, Alec. This Natalie would like you to speculate. The restriction on overwriting the old document may be in place to prevent students from making changes to documents such as the syllabus. If so, we cannot expect the bug to be fixed. Your thoughts?
My speculation is that it is a bug, that it wasn't intentional, because the error message that you get when you try to save on top of that PDF is that the document is read-only. The document that you're trying to save is read-only. But then if you look at the properties of the file that you're trying to replace, it's not read-only. It wouldn't make much sense to me that Microsoft lets you overwrite other files with the same name, but just doesn't let you overwrite a PDF with the same name. If you have a Word document, you can save over on top of that with the same name document. You can do that with RTFs. You can do that with TXT files. You just can't do it with the PDF, which, again, makes me think it's either a bug or some arcane reasoning that Microsoft has that they're not sharing with anybody.
Thanks, Alec.
Go ahead, Jody.
Paula? Oh, okay. This one comes to us from Doreen. Hey, Doreen. Good to see you on the webinar. She says, PDFs are used for a secure way to send information. Most cannot be edited or change things in it. If the PDF was password protected, would Word still be able to open it? I think you kind of touched on that earlier, Alec.
Correct. If the PDF is password protected, then no, Word will not be able to edit it.
Great. This one comes from Jan, and it's related to the Excel flash fill feature. And she's wondering what would happen if you had multiple periods. For example, if you had an email address that was at bmcc.cc or .us, so you've got 2 periods in the email.
I'm not sure which direction we're going there. If we're joining text to create an email address or if we're extracting little sections out of an existing email address. Let's see, but I can tell you that it really doesn't matter how many periods there are, as long as there's some discernible pattern that Excel can determine. You know, you're typing in X number of characters after a certain delimiter. Excel is going to be able to extract that data for you. Again, without a concrete example of exactly what it is you're trying to do, though, I can't really answer that.
Very good. Paula, we're nearing the end of our specific time.
Yes, we are, and I guess I just want to take a moment. Thank you, Jody. And some of you may need to be leaving for other commitments, so we do have several questions remaining, and Alec and Jody and Jason and I can stay on for another 10 or 15 minutes and continue to answer questions. But for those of you who do need to leave, I want to thank you very much for participating. If there are questions of yours that did not get answered, I think you've already heard, but the best way to get those answered is to go ahead and add them to our Facebook page, and we will make sure that, that the questions do get answered. When you leave the webinar today, you will have a very brief 3-question survey pop up. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, we'd really appreciate your participating on that. And then finally, this webinar has been recorded. We will be posting the recorded version to our website at www.lablearning.com/webinars, and I would expect that to go up in about a week. So if you're interested in taking another look at that, please check back on our website. With that, I think for those of you who can stay, again, we'll continue with the questions. Jody, do you want to go ahead and ask one?
Certainly, I'd be happy to. Alex, this is a question for you. Well, actually, this is feedback for you. Both John and Regina say, yay, side by side in Excel, and John adds, amen for that feature. So you nailed that one on the head, Alex.
Yes, I love that feature.
Rosina is asking whether the same principle works in Word, where you can have 2 different windows.
Yes, you can.
Excellent. Thanks, Alec. Cheryl asks, does Excel have a way to easily insert a source line in a chart? This has never been a provided option.
A way to insert a what line?
A source line.
I am not sure.
I'll repeat the question, Alec. Does Excel have a way to easily insert a source line in a chart?
I would defer to our Excel author and say that would be a great one for Eric to maybe answer on Facebook.
Perfect.
We have a question on the eyedropper. Well, we have a comment and a question. Just a comment from Rose that she loves that eyedropper tool. But Norman is also asking if it's available in Office 2013 in general, or is it just in PowerPoint?
Sadly, it's only in PowerPoint. It would be nice if they brought that into Word so that you could actually, format your font color to match a graphic or a logo that you've got in your Word document. But no, at this point, it's only new in PowerPoint. Again, it already exists in Publisher, but it's not in Word, nor is it in Excel.
Great. Alec, this comes to you from Christine. She asks, are 2013 files compatible with Office 2010 and 2007 files without having to do a special file format save? What a great question.
Can you give control back to my screen, or can I show my screen again?
Yep, coming your way. Hang on.
Okay. So this is a 2013 file that I'm creating right now. And when I go to File, Save As, I'll save it to my desktop. You can see the Save As file type here. There is no option in here for the 2010 file type. If you want to save for 2003 or earlier, you can still do that. But to save for so it's compatible with 2010 or 2007, there is no option for that. So the files are going to be backward compatible already. If your document does contain elements that are new features of 2013 that weren't available in Office 2010, there's going to be another little checkbox down here, which I'm not showing on my screen now because my Microsoft Word document is a very basic document. I just had a couple of words in there. But sometimes there's going to be another checkbox here that'll say maintain compatibility with previous versions. And if you check that box, that'll be in a totally 2007, 2010 compatible format. I think that answers the question, maybe.
Good work. Alec, Rose asks, when will Office 2013 be released?
That is a question for Jason.
Oh, Jason. Jason, when will Microsoft launch 2013?
We don't have an official launch date, or release date, rather, for Office 2013. However, from past history, typically the retail release comes out about 2 to 3 months after the release to manufacturing, and the release to manufacturing happened about 3 weeks to a month ago. So based on that, I would expect the retail release to happen sometime in January.
Great, thanks, Jason. We have one for Margie. She's wondering if she can get a copy of Alec's features. She took notes, but it would be nice to have them, and I can actually answer that one. In addition to posting the recorded webinar, we will post a copy of Alec's summary slides on our website so that you can access that. Thank you, Margie.
Thanks, Paula. We seem to have a lot of questions about Mac versions. This one comes to us from Charlie. Does Alec know if there is a Mac version of Office 2013 coming soon?
Yes, Alec does know the answer to this. Actually, this is one that he knows. And the answer is no. Microsoft has no plans to release Office 2013 for Mac. However, they do plan on releasing an update to Office 2011 for Mac. I'm not sure exactly what that update is going to get you, but that's the official word from Microsoft. No plans for a Mac 2013 version.
Okay. We have another question. Is the SkyDrive available for Office 2010?
Well, yes and no. I mean, SkyDrive is pretty much always available, has always been available, just not necessarily from right within the software. Again, with these new versions of 2013, when you go to save as, SkyDrive is listed as an option right there. That's not the case in Office 2010. In 2010 and earlier, you could always, save the file to your desktop and then drag it over to your SkyDrive to save it there. But SkyDrive is only integrated directly into Office 2013 apps.
Okay, great. Deborah is wondering if you could explain what is cloud computing.
Cloud computing is just the fancy computer nerd obnoxious way of saying that something lives out there in the internet. In other words, it's not on your physical computer that you're sitting in front of. That word cloud just really refers to the internet. It's out there in space, off in the cloud somewhere. So SkyDrive, for example, is one example. SkyDrive is storage space. Instead of storing files on a USB drive that would go in your pocket and maybe get lost, or saving files on a hard drive that's built into your computer, which will eventually crash and die, as all hard drives do. Cloud computing, a cloud storage, just means your files would be stored on another computer halfway across the country, in this case run by Microsoft. And the benefit of that is that if it's in the cloud, again, meaning it's on the internet, it would be available to you from any computer connected to the internet. So you save a file on your hard drive and you go to another computer, you don't have access to your file because it's on the other computer. Well, if your files are saved in the cloud on SkyDrive, you can access your file from any computer that's connected to the internet.
Okay.
Excellent. Here's a request from Bonnie Campbell. Bonnie asks, is it possible to have a webinar focused on Office 365 features?
That is certainly something that we will take under consideration, Bonnie. Thank you. We're always looking for suggestions on what you'd like to see in future webinars. Alec is going to like this one because somebody has a question regarding your baby carriage. Thomas is wondering if your baby carriage can be segmented in. Let me restart. Can Alec's baby carriage be segmented into its original objects once saved? Say it was a very complicated figure now merged.
See, it was a good baby carriage, wasn't it? People love my baby carriage. And the answer to that is no. Once you've created some kind of a merged shape, now that's the shape that it is. It can't be unmerged. Well, I guess you may be able to unmerge it by doing Control-Z, undo, undo, undo. But if you've already saved the document and closed it and opened it up again so that you've lost that undo history, no, there is no command up here in the ribbon now that says unmerge shapes. So
thanks, Alex.
Got to make sure your baby carriage looks good before you commit.
My friend Frank Morris asks, Alec, has the save as .wmv been retained in PowerPoint 2013?
Yes, you can still save as a video. Although the default format, I believe, has been changed to an MP4 file. Let's see, if I do export and create video, you've got a number of different options here. But I'm not sure where it's telling. Oh, here I go. Yeah, so you can still save it here as, again, the default. You can still go back to the old school Windows media video, WMV files.
Thank you. Antonio asks, can flash fill be used with picture graphics?
No, it has to be some kind of text or numerical data.
Okay, we have a question from Gail. She's wondering if Office 13 behaves the same in Windows 8 as in 7. Specifically, do the Save As and Open Dialog boxes look the same as in 2010?
I think those may be two different questions. The Save As and Open Dialog boxes, they do look the same as 2010, but how they look is really more dependent on your operating system. A Save As or Open Dialog box is going to look one way in Windows 8 and another way in Windows 7 and another way in Windows 98. You know, those dialog boxes come from the operating system itself. But there's no difference in the way that the Office 2013 programs work on Windows 7 versus Windows 8. Again, from a user standpoint, it wouldn't matter if you are on Windows 7 or Windows 8. Office 2013 is going to operate the same. It's just a question of how do Windows 7 and Windows 8 operate differently once you're outside of Office 2013.
Thanks, Alec.
Thanks, Alec.
I think we have time for about 2 more questions. Jody, do you want to take one, and then I'll...
Sure. You'll finish it up?
Yep.
I think this question is for Jason. Jason Lynn asks, do you know if there will be an upgrade certification test? I'm assuming she means a Certiport certification exam to upgrade a student's skill set.
Not that I'm aware of. I have not heard anything from Certiport on any kind of an upgrade certification.
Thanks, Jason.
I'm actually going to do 2 questions because I want to read one that I can answer myself. Ed is, first of all, Alec, for you, kudos on the Office 2013 presentation. Good job. But his question is, are you folks planning a webinar for Windows 8? And I just want to let everybody know that that is something that we plan to do. We're probably not going to be able to do it until after the first of the year, but absolutely check our website. We'll also send out an email letting everybody know when that is. But with the significant changes to Windows 8, that would be a good one to attend. And then for our last question of the day, and then we will again post any unanswered questions and answer anything else you want to put out on our Facebook page. But let's see. How does Word 2013 handle producing a table of contents when making books and manuals?
That's an excellent question, and we'll post that answer on Facebook. because you got me. I don't know.
Nice way to end it. I do want to, on behalf of everyone at Labyrinth Learning, thank you for attending today. We do have another webinar that is coming up for those of you who are interested in eLab. That's on the end of November. Be great to have you join us. And otherwise, remember that survey. Let us know what you thought, and have a fabulous day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.